Hello, friends. Welcome back. It is officially Sagittarius season, okay? And I don't want to turn anybody off from today's talk. If astrology isn't your thing, please just hear me out, okay? Give me like 5 minutes of your time, and maybe by then you'll be like, okay, I can kind of play with this. But if you are an astrology girly, then you're gonna love today's chat. I love to look at astrology as almost like a prompt or a reflection. What planets and what they are said to symbolize and where they sit in my chart, it really just kind of holds up a mirror and you can take it or leave it. And whether or not you take it or leave it is sort of where the wisdom I think really lies, at least in my opinion with astrology. The reason why that's my stance is because obviously, it has not been scientifically proven, and yet I am drawn to it and I love it. I have to sit with myself and ask, like, what is it from astrology that I'm gathering while still keeping a grounded, measured take on it for myself? I got a comment recently when I was talking about the like witchiness and casting spells, and that it came across as like demeaning or like I was too superior to believe that I'm actually casting spells, and that I never want to give that energy out. Ever. I'm not trying to minimize even my own spiritual practice or my own beliefs and things. I'm just trying to say I have one foot in and one foot out. My one foot in is that I think all things can be used as reflective mirrors to go inward. And it's really our take and how we filter it through ourself, our presence, that tells us where the wisdom really is. Because then I think you don't give your power away. You know, you don't let the stars tell you who you are. You look at your natal chart or you look at your map, and then based on what it's saying, you can say, actually, yeah, that's true. Or wait, I would challenge that. And that's giving you information about yourself, also about anything else astrologically, if you look at it through that lens. My foot on the outside of astrology is like, again, it cannot be scientifically proven. And that's not to say that it can't be true, but just to say that I'm not going to perhaps like bet my life on something my natal chart might reflect to me, right? I cannot show you something and go, look, like there's the proof of astrology. But what I can do and what I do with myself with astrology is use it as symbolic reflection, use it out of a place of curiosity and fun. Thematically will happen in your life in different areas, from career to love to your personal growth to your karma. When you get that information, when you're reading your own natal chart, we all have Sagittarius in our chart. We'll get to that. But when you hear where it sits with you and what it means, you then have the power to be like, actually, yes, that really does make sense to me. That is something I've experienced. Or on the latter, you could be like, actually, that doesn't fit for me at all. Either way, you're getting great information about yourself from your inner self. Every year around this time, the energy shifts a little bit. And I can see how, from one perspective, we can blame the holidays, we can blame the shift in seasons, we can blame even our own preemptive stir craziness because we're about to head into the depths of winter. But really, from another perspective, we are slipping from Scorpio, or just have by the time this goes out, from Scorpio into Sagittarius season. We are coming out of the deep, shadowy, broody Scorpio into this almost like the lighting of the first fire before we head into winter, the adventure, the bigger picture, the little spark that can cast and keep a flame going through this whole cold winter dark season. It's like the dose of optimism we need right at the time that we need it, because it's right pre-holiday, right pre-Christmas, right pre-New Year. It's the little bit of celebration to end the year out. Now, I'm gonna read Sagittarius energy from my perspective, and if I'm missing pieces, because I likely am, because I am only one person's perspective and one person's internalization of this information, please tell me how you see Sagittarius energy. I see Sagittarius as fiery. Obviously, it is in one of the fire. It's one of the fire element signs. However, there's like I always want to say quick-wittedness to Sagittarius energy. It's fiery, it's passionate, it's adventurous, it's uplifting, but it's smart. It's smart and intelligent in a very quick and humorous way. And there is that like fire alive curiosity for life, the tail on fire, go get it, take an adventure, make an adventure out of the day. It's not even just Sagittarius tends to typically be linked into things like wanderlust and travel, but I think that it's actually more of the feeling of adventure and the feeling of novelty than it really is traveling the world. So you can really channel Sagittarius adventure by making an adventure out of your day, even if you're doing the same things you do every other day. It's where can I find some fun and some play in this day. And that's where that adventurous, fun spark of curiosity and how we can integrate that. There's also a braveness and a boldness to Sagittarius that I think I personally feel I could use more of. I don't have any planets that sit in Sagittarius in my chart. However, all of us have Sagittarius in our chart, which kind of leads me into my next point, which is finding Sagittarius in your chart if this is something that does interest you. If you do want to know, especially in this season that we've just unlocked, we've just started Sagittarius season. So for the next few weeks until about the 22nd of December, whatever house overlaps Sagittarius in your chart might be the area where that comes alive these next few weeks for you, or has some thematic play. Or again, if you wanted to use it more as a guide, like maybe that's, instead of it having an influence on you, you could take it as an invitation to have an influence on it. So you do not need to know astrology in order to do this. You can pull up any natal chart, and there are tons of places online where you can get them for free in minutes. All you need to know is your birthday, your birthplace, and your birth time roughly. And you kind of want to get the birth time like as close as you possibly can. I know a lot of moms, and I firsthand could see now, if it wasn't written down on a piece of paper and given to me, why moms might forget, why the experience of birth might have it does put you into a totally different dimension where time doesn't exist and you are just on the other side of this huge thing you did. And so roughly getting your birth time is ideal because, again, it's what's going to shift, especially your ascendant, which is your rising sign, where the sun was rising on the day of your birth. And from that, it's going to then take the wheel of astrology, which has 12 different houses in it, and place each of those houses in a space in your chart. And each of those houses will also coordinate with a sign, and you might not have a planet in that sign. So my astrological wheel, my natal chart, has Sagittarius in the 10th house. However, there were no planets resting there at my birth. It doesn't mean, though, that Sagittarius energy isn't, I mean, we all have all of the signs. We all have all of the energies flowing through us, just in different ways. And that's how you can symbolically read your natal chart. So once you have your natal chart, look for the symbol for Sagittarius, which is usually an arrow, and then take a look at what house it connects to. Now, I'm going to pop on the screen. I'll find some kind of graphic that explains which each of the houses represent, because once you know that, you can take Sagittarius energy and its symbolic nature, and then you take the house that it rests in, and that is exactly what we're getting at here, the area of your life that might host a bit more of that Sagittarius energy. So for example, I have Sagittarius in my 10th house, which is all about career, which is interesting because naturally I get this a lot when people meet me in person. I'm a lot less theatrical and such, but I'm actually not this way unless I know people really well. And so it's interesting how the Sagittarius is sitting in my career, because my career is very public facing, and I can be a little bold in the sense of being bold with my vulnerability, being bold and just putting myself out there, which actually, if you meet me in person and you didn't know what I did, you might not connect those two things. At least that would be my guess. If I met myself, I would be surprised to hear that I have a job that's very forward because it's not that I'm like timid or anything or shy. I'm just actually a very private and introverted. I'm a little introverted, honestly. I lean more introverted than I do extroverted. And once I get comfortable with you, then I'm a lot more actually extroverted. If Sagittarius rests in your first house, that would usually mean that you are a rising Sag, and your first house is all about your identity. So Sagittarius might be how you actually show up in the world, your self-expression, your first impression to anyone. If it rests in your second house, then it's all about money or goals, your self-worth. Given that Sagittarius energy, you might have like a bold, curious way with money or way of feeling your own value. The third house is writing, communication, and speaking your truth, which if it is in Sagittarius, then again, at least from my experience, maybe you are very quick-witted, maybe you have a sharp tongue, but it's like a mixture of pure intelligence and humor. If it's in your fourth house, that's all about home and mothering, and perhaps again with that, or like mothering yourself, mothering your body, mothering your home, creating a home for yourself, creating an environment, or whatever home means to you. And with that Sagittarius energy, it could be that home is wherever you feel the most free. If it's in your 5th house, that's creativity, play, and romance, which I would guess that maybe that area of your life is fiery and spicy and fun. If Sagittarius is in your 6th house, that is all about routines and your daily rhythm and your discipline. And so again, maybe you have a boldness with that. Maybe you have a fieriness. Maybe you actually do like to shift and change your schedule, your routines, your rhythm a lot, because you do want that sense of novelty and of adventure. You don't want to live the same way every single day. If it's in your 7th house, that would be relationships and communication or connection to other. It might also mean that you really value relationships that are honest and that are kind of like blunt. You might like that blunt honesty in your relationship and interactions with other people. You don't want fake kindness or niceness, really. I think everybody wants kindness, but not everybody wants niceness. You actually prefer someone to just be their bold, brash selves if that's how they're feeling, or to speak what's on their mind without filtering it through a niceness. If it's in your 8th house, that's all about healing. It's all about shadow work. It's all about the truth and the karma of your life. And so Sagittarius, again, can come up in honesty, that sharp tongue. Perhaps you feel like maybe shadows you've gone through or lessons you've learned have been fiery, have been big, have been bold, have taken you outside of your comfort zone. In your 9th house, that's all about spirituality. It's all about study. It's all about travel. So that is really that curiosity. Perhaps you feel like deep desire to learn more, to know more, to experience more, to put yourself in new places and to meet new people. And the 10th house, like I said, is career. So that might mean you have again, a passion to you, a boldness to you, stepping outside of what might be the norm and pushing yourself further and further in your career. An ambition that's never going to die out, and it keeps the fire alive and it keeps you going. The 11th house is all about community and friendships and the future and our goals for the future. So again, we need that Sagittarius energy in that space in order to drive us forward, in order to push us out of the heavy, but also to push us out of the grids that we get in when we don't seek new, when we don't seek curiosity for the ways that we could change. And the 12th house is all about your imagination, your connection to the other side of the veil, whatever you believe might be there, your closing of karmic cycles, your dreams, your intuition. And so again, maybe your connection to that side of you, all I can think about is sharp-sighted. Like there is I don't know why the word sharp comes to me. It's not sharp in a bad way. It's sharp in a bold way. It's sharp in a quick way that honestly, as someone that, again, I have Sagittarius in my career house, but I don't have any Sagittarius in my chart. No planets rest there for me. And so when I get around Sag energy, one of my longer friends in particular is a Sag, and I always love just the energy of a Sag. Like I wish I had more of it at times because it is so bright and fiery and forward. And there is like a confidence to it. There's a confidence to Sagittarius energy that is very inspiring. So how might we channel Sagittarius energy then? Because you don't need it in your chart. You don't even need to know astrology to take all of the symbology of this chat today, because it really is just an invitation to take the fact that we're in astrologically a Sagittarius season to embrace these concepts within yourself in whichever way speaks to you, to embrace confidence, to embrace forwardness, ambition, boldness, intelligence, quick-wittedness, light, fun, adventure, curiosity, learning, like the philosophies of light, to get interested about learning new things, learning new philosophies, learning new takes on the world, pushing you outside of your comfort zone, and also like bringing light back into your life, especially after astrologically a Scorpio season where we tend to go really deep with ourselves and we go into like our grief and we go into our shadow. So this is the time to now come out of that, break out of it, and have more fun and more light. I think the first thing we can do to channel this energy is to just say yes to something that you might originally want to say no to, and not to burn yourself out. Like don't say yes to something if you know in your deep core, this is going to drain me, but say yes to something that pushes you outside of your comfort zone. Whether a new idea hits you, instead of putting it off, get started. Make the first small step. You don't have to like fully live it out today. But if you get an idea, like let's say a book idea comes to you, start writing down some title ideas, or start with the introduction, start with the first page even. Just start with a little bit of momentum. A trip falls into your lap, or an opportunity to travel, or an opportunity to expand outside of yourself a little bit. Take this Sagittarius season as like a little permission slip to say yes to something, and you'll know what it is. Just let yourself be open these next few weeks to, if something comes to me and initially I want to say yes, but fear stops me, then you say yes. Because those aren't going to be the things that you say yes to that drain you. You're not doing it out of obligation or duty. You're saying yes despite your fear, because you want to say yes, but it's a little outside of the norm for you. This is also the perfect time to come into some sense of clarity for the bigger picture, whether it's for next year. Like, it's perfectly timed as we're winding down the year and heading into holiday season. I know that the crunch time between Christmas and New Year's is usually when we do the bulk of this. And in fact, I think that leans more into Capricorn energy, which is what we will be moving into then. And that's like taking the dream, taking the big picture, taking your goals for 2026, or you can go further out, bigger picture than that, and starting to plan them into the year or get things ready, get things going. That is very Capricorn energy. But right now in Sagittarius season, these next few weeks, asking for the universe or letting things come to you and then writing them down that you want, that are further out than just the survival mode you might be in right now. Like, how do you want to thrive, not just survive? And just start writing it down. So in my planner, obviously, as we're getting towards the end of the year, this planner for me is starting to close. It's starting to end. And so there were multiple pages in the back of notes that I hadn't used. And so the very, very last page in my planner, anything that pops into my mind, be it for someone else or myself, that I'm like, oh, I really want to ask for this, or I would really like that, or just some goals that I'm like, maybe I could focus on that in 2026. I've started a list in the back of my planner. It doesn't need to be organized yet. It doesn't need to be mapped out or planned yet. Because again, Christmas and New Year's, that is the time. Then we're in Capricorn season. We can do that then. Right now, it's just looking at the bigger picture, letting ideas come where it's like, it would be really nice to do that, or to ask for that, or to set that as a goal and writing it down. Having a place that you go to write that down. Next, what is something that you have been thinking about or curious about, or maybe you want to learn more about, or you want to try something new of? Like, follow your curiosity a little bit these next few weeks. Whenever something sparks in your mind as, interesting, I kind of want to lean in a little bit more. I kind of want to find out more about that. I kind of want to try that myself. Then totally lean in and totally try it. Next would be to speak more truth. And again, I want to say this is like, speak more truth with humor. Own your reality with a funny spin. Like, put the sitcom lens on your life instead of the deep cinematic version of your life. Like, put the sitcom spin on your life for a few weeks. Let the truth of reality of you, of what you're feeling, your thoughts, let everything come out in truth, but in a way that's just kind of like a shoulder shrug truth. Like, it is what it is. And then the set background laughing, the audience kind of like tunes in, because there's just like a is what it is kind of energy, like that kind of truth seeking. Let humor be your medicine right now, especially as we try and lighten up before the holidays. Let optimism be your sense of rebellion. Refuse to give up hope. Refuse to give up a bigger picture. Refuse to let the heaviness keep you from laughing. However, there is always a little warning as we go into any astrological season, and it is this: every single sign has a shadow side. So just as much as there are these great, amazing symbols of Sag, there are also these shadowy warnings of Sagittarius. And so take this as just a little heads up to, one, not burn out, because again, fiery Sagittarius energy, we're talking about the archer here. We're talking about the go-getter. Don't burn yourself out go-getting, okay? Little warning. Note to self. Also, a sense of impulsiveness, restlessness, be careful. Again, don't get so like, let's go, that all of a sudden you can't also keep your groundedness or sit still, or that you're making impulsive decisions that aren't actually things you're curious about. You're just like you're hungry for action or something, tame the hunger, tame the flame a little bit. And finally, overpromising or taking on too much. Like, again, checks and balances always. The curiosity to say yes to something, the lean in, it shouldn't come at the expense of you taking too much out of yourself. I think of Sagittarius for some reason with the adventures of stories and of novels. And like right now, I'm reading Fourth Wing right now because it's all about dragons and it's giving Sagittarius energy. I don't know why, but I feel like there could be some warning in there too about not escaping. As much as it is fun and it is quick and it is lighthearted, I feel like there too a little bit of warning to not just jump from thing to thing as a way to escape stillness, as a way to escape rootedness. It's fun to be curious. It's fun to change things up. It's fun to lean into curiosity and to bring novelty into our lives and to be bold and to be confident. But I think that there is also it's almost the fake it till you make it. Like the other side of faking it till you make it is like, at what point are you faking it so much that you're no longer being yourself or that you're running from yourself? Those are the only shadowy sides that I feel like I'm going to take heed and just keep in the back of my mind, tuck that into the back of my mind in case my intuition starts to say, hey, we might be leaning towards one of those, and instead lean in the other direction. Last but not least, I leave you with some questions, some deep questions for the collective. Feel free to use them as journal prompts if you'd like to, or just reflection prompts. But the first being, as you head into these next few weeks, basically now until Christmas, one, I ask you, is there anything that you're curious about or something you want to learn more about, something you want to lean into, and naturally it might ignite a little bit of fear, but there's a feeling there. Whatever first pops into your head, just take it. The second is, what is a belief that you are going to hold true to from now until Christmas? Just a simple, I'm going to choose to believe this about whether it's the world, yourself, other people, a situation you might be in, something about the future. Like, what is one belief that you're going to hold strong to going into Sagittarius season? A belief that if you choose to agree that this is true, I'm going to fully invest all of my belief in this thing, it would expand you as a person. It is fully in my power to that the world is actually getting better. It's going through a lot of dark and healing, but it's actually getting better. Like whatever the belief is that helps you expand more as a person, what is that belief? And then can you hold on to it for the next few weeks and see how it actually might expand you? Or the ways that the world could reflect it back to you in truth, that the more you believe this thing, the more your brain will start to seek out proof that that belief is true. And what might you find? And then last but not least, what is an adventure that you could take? And it doesn't need to be just travel, but just what kind of journey, what kind of pilgrimage does your soul want to go on right now? What kind of adventure or newness or step outside of the routine and the norm are you going to say yes to? And it could be as something like I don't have a lot of capacity to step out of my routine right now, my day-to-day right now, because it is creating a stability that I've needed for a long time. However, I do know that there are some Christmas events coming up, and as much as it's like I'm going to be doing these things anyway, I'm going to look at them as like adventures. What are you going to turn into an adventure in these next few weeks? To me, Christmas is going to be the adventure. Creating the Christmas spirit is my adventure from now until Capricorn season, to which, if you enjoyed this chat, let me know if you want to do one for Capricorn season, because we totally can. We can channel Capricorn, all of us together, figure out where it is in our chart, etc., as we head into that season. And without further ado, I leave you here. Happy Sagittarius season. Let me know if you're a Sag or where Sag is in your chart down below. And this Pisces wishes you well. Bye, everyone.